The woman never imagined that while she was on duty in the obstetrics ward, she would see her husband accompanying his first love for a prenatal checkup with her own eyes. But she did not make a scene or argue with her husband. Instead, she forced herself to stay calm and finished her work. The examination results showed that their baby was already a full 38 weeks along. The nurse even stood nearby praising how good-looking the two of them were, saying their child would definitely be beautiful in the future, and that a man so gentle with his wife would surely be a good father someday. After her husband left with his first love, the woman called the head of obstetrics and gynecology and asked her to schedule an abortion for her 7 days later, because just a few minutes earlier, she had also found out that she was pregnant. But before she even had the chance to share this surprise with her husband, she discovered that he had betrayed her. Then, the woman quietly drafted a divorce agreement and decided to completely end their marriage. Just then, her husband came home. He explained that he and his first love were now just ordinary friends. She had just gotten divorced and was pregnant, so it was inconvenient for her, and he had only helped her walk for a short while. The woman had just wanted to say that she was the same, but just then, his first love called. Her husband immediately lied that there was a company meeting and turned to leave, taking advantage of how rushed he was to head out. She lied that she had her eye on a house and tricked him into signing the divorce papers. Because he was in such a hurry to go see his first love, he signed without even looking closely. Right after that, the woman called the department head and agreed to join the overseas medical exchange program. In 2 weeks, she would leave her husband's world forever. The next day, the first love added the woman as a friend. Her social feed was filled with photos of the husband helping her decorate her new home the night before. Just then, the husband suddenly came over and lied that work had been too busy yesterday and he had completely forgotten their wedding anniversary. He said he would make it up to her after work. But after work, no matter how long she waited, he never showed up. He called and said he had to work late tonight and they could have dinner another day. But when she arrived at the supermarket, she ran into her husband shopping there with his first love. At that moment, his first love also saw her and deliberately started acting spoiled toward him. Watching how gentle and attentive her husband was toward his first love, the woman's stomach churned and she felt waves of nausea. At that moment, his first love pretended they had run into each other by chance and asked, "Oh, you're shopping at the supermarket too?" Hearing this, the husband was stunned. His first love even stepped forward to thank the woman for taking care of her during the prenatal checkup at the hospital that day. But the woman could not even be bothered to respond. The first love suddenly pretended to cry out in pain and stepped backward. The husband immediately assumed that the woman was giving his first love trouble and scolded her for being unreasonable. The woman did not want to say another word and turned to leave. Just as the husband was about to catch up and explain, the first love once again pretended to have stomach pain, and he anxiously supported her as they headed to the hospital. The woman returned home burning with a fever and lay weakly on the couch. When her husband came home and saw this, he immediately found some medicine for her, completely unaware that pregnant women could not take medicine casually. Faced with the woman's refusal, the husband assumed she was still upset about what had happened at the supermarket and complained that she was too prone to little tantrums. Just then, his first love called, and he immediately stepped aside to answer. He chatted happily with her, completely failing to notice his wife struggling with severe nausea. Then he asked the woman, "Pregnant women aren't supposed to take medicine casually, right? So what can she eat to help relieve a cold and fever?" The woman thought her husband had noticed that she had caught a cold, but he then said that his first love had a cold and was also suffering from severe pregnancy nausea, so he wanted to ask for her. The woman said disappointedly that she did not know. Her husband immediately looked up some precautions online and told his first love. At that moment, the woman's heart turned completely cold. The next day, the husband booked a restaurant to make up their wedding anniversary for the woman. However, he ordered an entire table full of spicy dishes. In that instant, the woman understood that her husband's heart was now completely full of his first love. He had even forgotten that she never ate spicy food. The husband said he had forgotten to buy an anniversary gift. He told the woman to ask for whatever she wanted. The woman said she had signed up for an online new parents course and wanted him to go through everything on the new parents checklist with her. The husband could not make sense of it no matter how much he thought about it. He still believed that his wife was bothered by his first love, so he explained that they were only friends and comforted her, telling her not to overthink it. The woman said this was what she wanted for their anniversary, so the husband had no choice but to agree. Soon, the day of the surgery arrived. In order to say goodbye to the baby, the woman had her husband go through everything on the new parents checklist with her. In such a warm atmosphere, the husband impulsively said that he wanted a child. The woman felt utterly heartbroken. Her husband's desire to have a child came at the very moment their baby was about to be lost. Just then, the first love called and said that her stomach did not feel well and asked him to accompany her to the hospital. The husband lied that there was an urgent matter at the company and hurriedly prepared to leave. The woman asked her husband, "If we had a daughter, what kind of man would you want her to marry?" The husband answered that of course she should marry someone who would love her wholeheartedly and take care of her. The woman then asked, "What if that person already had someone else in his heart?" The man answered, "Then divorce him." The woman asked, "Then what if there were already a baby?" The man coldly said, "Then don't let it be born. I would never allow her to become a single mother." As planned, the woman arrived at the hospital for the surgery. The doctor asked with concern whether she wanted to discuss once more whether to go through with the procedure. But right outside the operating room, she once again saw her husband accompanying his first love to a prenatal checkup, even though he had clearly said he was in a company meeting today. She then told the doctor that her husband was already dead. Outside the operating room, the husband accidentally caught sight of the woman's figure, but his first love once again pretended that her stomach hurt and insisted that he stay with her to see the doctor, completely unaware that his wife had already signed the surgery consent form without the slightest hesitation. Very soon, She was pushed into the operating room. But during the surgery, she suddenly began hemorrhaging heavily. The nurse rushed out and shouted, "Is the woman's family here?" When the passing husband heard it, his whole body froze. Because the woman inside the operating room, hanging by a thread, was actually his own wife, and the child she had personally given up was also his own flesh and blood. By the time he reacted, everything was already too late.